Hello, in this tutorial I would like to show a simple way to edit records in a table. First, let's have a design a table. I'm gonna call it customers with 4 fields. First is the customer ID, and this customer ID will be a primary key. It will be an integer and an auto increment property and a primary key. Let's gonna add first name, last name, and for example email address. And here is a new field to store the customer password. Right, so the password will be 200 characters. And here it is. We have a table right here. First of all, let's create a list. In a folder, in a local server here, I will make a list PHP. And I will make connect to the database. I'm gonna call it connect.php. And here it is, connect.php. Into the connect PHP, I will create a table connect to this database called pb. Open a new connection, MySQL connect. The first is the host for your MySQL. In my case is localhost. The second is my username. The third is the password, which is empty in my case. And select my database. Double B. And use the previously opened connection. This will be my DB. And you can include this connect.php into this list PHP's very beginning part. With this, we could use the connect PHP, where we need connect.php. So the list should be list all the records, and we will create links. So list the table, select from customers. As you can see, the customer ID will be our primary key, so we can make links and put the customer ID number into the link to pass through which record we'll be editing. run this query. You can use the or die structure to stop the program and echo the MySQL error to show the user there is a problem. Count the records. So if the MySQL num rows for the result bigger than 0, let's echo here the records. You can use the while. So the while double row will be equal with MySQL fetch as such value for the result resource. You can render tables or just echo with a list. So the first name, and you can add break right here. And you can copy and paste the last name and the email. The password is not necessary here because these values will be encrypted, so we cannot see the customer's password and is not suggested to list. Here goes a horizontal rule. Now we'll fill with example data. We can now test with 2 records. It's in my tutorial and simple edit folder. Localhost /tutorial/simple edit, and the list PHP will list our table. So in every block you can here echo a URL, a link to an edit page. So edit will be our link, and we will pass the primary key number to an edit.php. We can just pass through. So the edit code customer ID will be the row customer ID number, and in edit.php we can make an SQL query from the table. I have to correct the name, customer ID. Now in edit.php we can query down the customer ID from the query string from our URL. So edit PHP. We use our connection, and here goes a test if the customer ID has a value. We can make a query. SQL will be select everything from customers where the customer ID is equal with the value from our URL. So we can save the customer ID into a PHP variable. And always keep your SQL string safe from SQL injection. So if we are talking about an integer, you can cast in the incoming value. We can have the result here. Run this SQL query. And you can use the order structure to show there is an error here. So the row will be MySQL fetch a suck of this result. What if there is no record in the table? Let's have a check. If the MySQL num rows for our result is equal with 1, in this case we can get the MySQL fetch as suck. Here goes a form. We can break out from the PHP tag to put right here a form, an edit form. Form with the post method. Our action will be edited PHP, and we can pass the customer ID where the customer ID comes from our double row $row array. So we can echo here the customer ID. Let's have a form field. Input type is text. Our name will be the same as the field names, like first name, and the value will be the value from the $row array. So just echo here first name. And I'm just gonna copy and paste the last name. We can echo the last name from the $row array. and the email address. And the password. It will be a trick because if we set a new value, it will change our customer's password. And we can leave this value empty. So the update program, the process program, will be check if the password has a new value. In this case, the password will be changed and maybe emailed to the customer. Alright, and here goes the submit button. And its value is update. And close the form, and we can write the process program for this edit. How to check if this edit has submitted? I usually use a hidden element, a hidden field, input type, hidden, its name is edited, and the name, the value is 1. And you can check if this edit post has a value in here. Before the SQL query, so if it has a value, this hidden element, we can write here the update program, where we can use the customer ID from our URL. Let's have a test. This form echoed the records values, and if we make a change, we can process our form's inputs to change the previously entered first name into the new value. And if the password has been set, we can change the password. So first is just start an update. Update will be, we can write here update customers and set, and it's usually better to write the fields into new lines, like update will be, and we can make a list from the fields like first name will be equal with a first name, and how we can save the first name's value into these, between these apostrophes. And here goes a trick. As printf is a function to format and use parameters to enter here a variable safely. And I have to use MySQL real escape string and our post first name. Why is it better to build a query, an update query? It's a better organized code. So we can echo, copy and paste here, not just the first name, but the last name, and our email address. And what about the password? Here goes the password. If the password has set, has a new value. And we can continue the update. We have to use the where structure, where the customer ID is equal with the customer ID from our link. And we can run this update. MySQL query update and use the or die MySQL error here. If we have a problem, we can troubleshoot. The code so far, we can make a update. It has been updated. What if we change the password? Before the variant field, for example here, if the password has set, and its length is bigger than 0, the string length is bigger than 0, let's change the password. Our password field should be placed between these apostrophes, but these are not apostrophes. Ash maybe, I don't know, not ash. Because it's a reserved field name. Password is a function in MySQL. So the password should be encrypted. The very basic is MD5. So I'll pass the password into my SQL string with an MD5 function. And if we browse it, let's see the password has been edited. So it is just a simple technique how to change a password on an edit page. If you just leave it empty, it won't edit it. So organize your code. And here it is, an edit feature. And thank you for your attention, and leave a comment. For example, if you need the source code or got further questions. And of course, you can make a contact with me. Visit the phpcode.hu and look around here. You can use my MySQL generator, and you can generate a full management code. Select here English, and I can make a full management code like this in a minute. I'm just typing the table name, the parameter, the field, and I will have an edit page in a second. Alright? Try this generator if you want to know a fastest way of doing an edit page. Right? Thank you, and leave a comment. Bye.